Hey everyone, it's a rainy end of June and some of my flowers are starting to finish their blooms and it's time to cut them down. So what you see here is the cat's pajamas nepeta, and their flesh was done, so I brought it down to where the next two stems were coming out with new buds because they do rebloom. So I got a little video on that. Now you can go ahead and cut them all off at once with big shears, but I decided I already saw some new growth coming up, like new buds, so I just cut them right down to where I saw the new growth happening. It's like two side shoots, and then I made a mistake and cut past the two side shoots there. So I just showed that up close. So yeah, you just bring it down right until you see the new buds, and then they'll grow out flush. If you cut past that, you just have to wait like another week or two for the new growth to come out. So yeah, we should see some blooms soon. This is them all done, and what you'll see is that on each clipping I have two new shoots, and they're gonna bud up and we'll have another flush. I do want to eventually split some of these and share them around the garden because they do bloom for such a long time. It was like 6 whole weeks, that cat's pajamas nepeta. Now I'm getting this is a milkweed, it's called butterfly weed, and it's all budded up. And it's very tall. Like, yeah, now it's almost like there's not enough layering going on, so can't wait until the cat's pajamas come up. And just as tall is Midnight Masquerade penstemon, which I also want to divide because I really like the purple leaf, and we need some purple leaf right in here. So that's where I'm going to put some more of that penstemon. Things fleshing out are these daisy maze Shasta daisies on that side, and that was one grouping, and then here is another one, and I've split that one and it's really comfortable. This one gets more sun, that one gets partial sun, so you can see the difference there. So newly blooming is the smooth hydrangea incredible, and we got some really pretty Veronica Speedwell, some Stella Doro daylilies, the endless summer hydrangea. The original has been blooming on old wood for quite some time now, and then the new wood is coming up in the middle and forming some buds. But our peonies are done, so that's the next thing I'm going to take down. Taking down your peonies about halfway is really good, or just thinning them out so that they don't develop mold on the really pretty shiny dark leaves. There we go. So I trimmed this one into kind of a narrow area. I just wanted to avoid some of the endless summer hydrangea and the rest of the delphiniums, because I do have some delphiniums continuing to grow, and I do want those to spread so I can move them around the garden. So I just want to give that some room, but I left it looking kind of pretty. This one, on the other hand, is overgrowing its space, and so I cut it really like right down here a lot, especially around the back, because I don't actually want it spreading into my smoke bush. So I'm going to be cutting some of that out, and also just airing up this space, because bee balm Monarda tends to get a little moldy too if it has stuff laying on top of it. So I just want to air out. So this doesn't look as pretty, but I think it's kind of necessary at this time. Oh, and look at what else is finally in bloom, my coreopsis. So pretty. The last sneaky thing I wanted to mention was that this right here is a butterfly weed that almost didn't make it. It took so long for it to show growth. I had moved it. They don't like being moved. I had split it from its mother plant and put it here in the fall. And I guess it didn't like that very much. So it's taking a long time, but I've left a very large hole for it to grow into. And all I've been doing is picking these annoying weeds all around it so that it can grow without being stifled. So I'm keeping this space really open for the butterfly weed. That's the most important in my opinion in this area. Now right above it, this Pilu clematis is pretty much finishing up its biggest flush, but it does have a lot more buds on it. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not even gonna like cut it back or anything. It does do a second flush at the late summer. So I'm just gonna wait for all those other random late buds to bloom, and I will deadhead everything and cut back a little bit to promote new growth for the end of August, early September. These delphiniums, the really dark purple ones, they are done almost blooming, so I think it's time to cut them back, especially some on the edge here. Now I do stake these, as you can see, because all of the rain just kind of makes them fall over. So you can cut them back to their secondary bouts of flushes. Now if it wasn't so rain heavy and droopy, these would have stood up and looked a lot better, but that's how it goes sometimes. And if they don't have secondary stems, like this stem here does not have a secondary 2 sets of stems behind it, so I'm just going to cut it down to the base. Again, these do get kind of moldy white mold on them, so the more you take off, the better it is for the plant. I think I'll keep these on, but like these, but I don't need the supports at the moment, or at least not that big a support. I do have smaller staking supports, so I might support that back up in a second. I'm just going to take out the messiness of all of these first. Like this one, it's like a little crinkly. I didn't support it early enough, so it got itself a big bending thing. And it has just one set of buds here that can bloom, so I'll keep that. And I'll re-support it with something shorter. See how they flop over like immediately? Yeah, that happens. This one still has some good stuff on it. Okay. There we have it. I restake them with shorter stakes, and so it'll be the rest. I don't know why those bloom so much faster than these and the pink ones back there, because these are just starting out. Just I guess the variety that I chose. There's one more over here, and then I even have some planted that are supposed to grow here, but also, yeah, some not just delphiniums, but hollyhocks right here. I'm just gonna try hollyhocks. Like, it's that same kind of tall cottagey flowering look, but I guess they're biannual and they're a little trickier. They self-seed apparently. I don't know, I just bought one just to see how it goes. Everything's looking really lush because of all the rain. Oh, the bee balm. There's some over there too. Yeah. So this is Scarlet Tall Monarda bee balm. Definitely a local favorite. Kind of looks just like a tall weed otherwise, but once they really get a full flush on the tops there, it's just like a big broad amount of red. It looks really good. What else is blooming? Oh yeah, there's the rest of the, this is a shadier side, so that delphinium a little bit later. And then there's a lot of delphiniums down here. But because again, they were just planted and they're babies, they're really behind. Oh, I finally got some coreopsis over here. My coreopsis, which is native, doesn't like my clay soil. And I had a lot of clay soil here. You can tell I just top dressed it with some compost, but really I should be mixing in sand, for heaven's sake. It's so much clay. I didn't have sand handy when I was planting, and I did have like some really small bits of gravel that I kind of put in there to try to promote drainage and just break up some of the clay soil, but it didn't work because not only did the coreopsis not come back in full flush, there's just like a baby coreopsis right there, barely making it. This coreopsis like didn't want to survive much either. This whole section here under the lamian was my cardinal flower, the purple leaf kind. It's called Queen Victoria cardinal flower, and it died. It did not make it. I think it's weird too, because I thought because it was clay soil it would still like it, because apparently it is a swamp plant. It can live really next to ponds and stuff like that. This is what it is down here. This one survived, but it's so slow. That is Queen Victoria cardinal flower, has red flowers and beautiful purple leaves. So I wanted this to fill up. I thought it would spread like crazy. I let it go to seed and everything. No. So I'm gonna give up on it on this side, because this is the second time the cardinal flower did not survive a winter here. So instead, I'm going to take the front of this salvia and I'm going to make it into a drift. I'm gonna put salvia. I know there's like a bunch of phlox right here, but I feel like I might keep it in the back of the, because like once this is done flowering, I cut it off and then the phlox starts flowering. So behind it would make sense, right? So I'd have like a drift of the salvia in front of this phlox. I think that would be much better. So those are the plans. The next thing you're probably gonna see me do though is re-edge the border. The grass is just growing into it, right? So if you don't have a proper border on the garden, then the grass will creep into your beds. So I'm gonna make a nice dramatic line, and you know, maybe subconsciously just widen the garden every time I do that. Just, you know, maybe like less grass, more garden. And the other idea I was playing with, just because this has turned into an update video now, is there is just so much room in the center, and my dog's small. Does he really need that much room? Should I put a veggie garden? Like, should this, I don't know, this is where all the sun is, basically. And I don't know if I should utilize it, or another flower bed. I don't think I need another flower bed though. I have tons. But maybe this should be a cute little, I think like a circular one right here where you can walk in the middle and across. So it'd be like a pie shape. I think that would be kind of cool. Because right now this is where my garden is. It gets tons of sun and it's fine. But I was like, if I wanted to have more, because I only have just this blackberry bush, a couple cucumbers, a tomato. That's it. So I was thinking about getting some strawberry and just put the strawberry right in here and let it fill in, and it can compete. I don't know which one would win, this creeping phlox or, you know, the ground strawberries. I wonder which one, or if they would live harmoniously and not have a problem with each other. I don't know. Something to think about though. Oh, and the other two projects I need to do is, let me widen out. Okay, this is an inappropriate trellis. So is that for the clematis. This is a clematis, this is a clematis. And the trellises are too small and too narrow. I have to get a proper one and unravel all that. So I am gonna do that. And this is my little herb garden. It's so tiny. Still don't know what to do here besides like split my sedum and add more sedum in this area. Yep, okay, that's about it for today. Have a great rainy day. Bye.